Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, October 2nd at 9:30. We're the Council on Aging Board, and it's our monthly meeting. So welcome to all the board members, and we will call the order at 9:31. Okay, that was something from Rini. Okay, so 9:31. Sure what that means. Okay. No open time for the public, I see, so no one's here. Approval of those thorough minutes from our last meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look at them?
Yes.
Do we have a motion or?
Make a motion to accept.
We have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, any discussion? Very much appreciated. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. It's up to you now there, Miss Kay.
Okay, I attended the Friends meeting yesterday. It was September 3rd.
October 1st.
I'm looking at September 3rd. Okay, right, October 1st was the meeting, right, okay.
Good morning.
Anyways, they had a good group. They usually get about a dozen people attending. And they reviewed the minutes and, they reviewed the Treasury's report, and that was all good, and they passed that. And then they had a recap of their September luncheon, which everybody thought was very good with the Polish food. They even thought they would use maybe that Polish caterer again because it was so good.
I saw him at the Big E.
Yes.
He has a truck at the Big E.
Yeah,
so.
we did. It was sponsored by the Polish National Credit Union, but they were thinking of maybe using them themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, and then they had a discussion of the October luncheon and made last-minute plans of what they were going to serve and who was going to do what. And
That wasn't me.
That's me.
okay,
Have to silence this too, apparently.
right. And then they also had a discussion regarding the November 8th luncheons and the December 13th luncheons, and made a decision that they're going to charge $10 for those luncheons. And then they also had a discussion regarding their wine fundraiser on October 17th. Made some final decisions, and they're also going to have a meeting for people who are going to help with bringing some food, and they have another meeting for that. So that looks like it's going well. They added another hour to it. It'll be from 3 to 6, so that other people who maybe can come later, and you can stay until 7.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're working and you want to come in at 5, 6, and you can stay till 7.
That's up at the Glendale?
That's the Glendale.
Yeah.
It's $15 for the wine tasting. Yeah.
What's the date?
It's October 17th.
Yeah.
So that sounds very
Should
good.
be fun.
I like a fun day. And next item was some volunteer for Joan, because she'll need some next few weeks because her assistant is on vacation. Some people volunteered to answer phones and things like that. And then they changed they didn't change, but they're going to have their next meeting November 5th because we don't have any voting on that day. They were originally going to have it at the end of October. And they also discussed the Southampton Meadows tag sale, which is going to be held here, and we're also going to have a booth at the tag sale on October 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then there was also some discussion regarding December Luncheon Entertainment and future entertainment. And the next item was the possible tea party, which was going to be December 19th, maybe.
Yeah, we were thinking because of the Glendale Ridge, we wouldn't have a tea party, but then I thought, well, we'll just go, and Darlene being away because she's so instrumental in that. So we pushed it to December, thought a holiday tea would be nice. We always get a big group of 50, and we have a new woman who does teas, Madeline. She says she has 50 teapots. I said, well, we don't need 50. But
50?
Well, I made the number wrong. It was a lot of teapots.
And great recipes.
And great recipes, right. Gingerbread, which I thought gingerbread at the holidays would be really nice, so
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
And she bakes.
Yeah.
Recipes, but she bakes.
So that'll be another event. And that was about it. There was some on the new ideas. You're thinking of doing mass mailing twice a year now, and there was some discussion on that, and there'll be like further discussion on that. And I can't think of anything else that we discussed that I should mention, but that
I
unless
think you covered it really well.
So I'm gonna request that there's a two-way communication there, because you report to us what they say, but I don't know that we get a chance to report to them where we're at.
Well, there was was there a discussion or just a?
We talked about it at lunch.
Oh, maybe them having a liaison to our?
Well, I mean,
No,
you can also
you
work
can be
two
the
ways, yeah.
liaison, so you could report back to say what happens at the board, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
You know,
So
because some of the things, they don't know what necessarily get caught up with everything that we're doing.
okay.
So if there's a way that, if I could impose upon you
Sure.
to share with them. I know it's a month later, so it's a little bit
so,
tough, but you'll
yeah,
have
yeah.
Nancy's
See, this is
wonderful
good because
minutes.
that's, the day before, so I remember like all the
Yeah.
things they discussed.
You might have the minutes.
Then when Nancy sends the minutes out, then you have a good summary for their meeting, because we try to get them out.
When is their meeting next? So that I can make sure I get it.
First Tuesday of the month.
First Tuesday.
It's going to be
Was it November 5th?
November 5th.
November 5th.
So it's the day before.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So, all right. And again, for the people that joined us a little bit late, we are being recorded today, so I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that, okay? Okay, great. Thanks, Kay. That's a good update. All right, director and volunteer reports, including the state formula grant, to share with everybody, because we're going to present it tonight to this, I'm going to, because Joan has her
Should I
conference
have
tonight.
had a copy for everybody?
Yeah, probably.
I'm sorry, I sent it. You got it?
You got it,
I sent
okay.
it.
Did you update with the update?
So I did not put in the
Okay,
update.
well,
We can
talked
discuss
about-
that today.
So
And
there
I
will be
can-
one change on that. So, state formula grant, the annual report that you completed for the state, the Go for Life Family Walk, the health fair, the luncheon speaker, and how we make sure we promote that, and any new activities, and then also later this month, the care for the caregivers. I do have it posted properly now on our MyTownGov, and so hopefully.
Yeah, I got a couple that it got canceled. I wanted to.
Well, it was listed under COA, so I asked to create a new topic from outside, because it's, and the COA gets buried in there, so people don't really know what it is. So I just changed it up, and you'll see that it talks about Mercy Life Pace. So, okay.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I just did that yesterday, so.
Oh.
And then, of course, Joan's going to give us an update on the fact that we did not get the grant from Highland Valley.
Should I start with the bad news first?
Yeah.
All right,
It's a start.
and then we can go. Because everything else is, you did get copies of it. You didn't see the response from
Yeah.
Highland Valley.
You want to do this, you want to do Highland Valley first, and then we'll move into the state formula grant? Is that
Okay.
what you want to do?
Okay.
It's up to
Just
you.
get it
That's
off.
my question.
So this is the response that I received in the mail yesterday. I don't know, it didn't come in, it came in through the office, so I don't know how it ended up in the break room.
It's in the break room?
It was in the break room, the cubby. It wasn't
Okay.
through my regular mail, so I'm not sure how it ended up there.
Okay. Can I try?
Anyway, it just says that that we did not receive that was not funded. And the reasons they gave was that it did not have a clear community partnership component, which means I'm not sure if we had done something with the Easthampton Council on Aging or another Council on Aging, because I did mention the VNA and Mercy Life, but I think maybe they wanted a collaboration with other Council on Agings. Because I think the Hill Toms do a lot of collaborations because they're very tiny. And it didn't have enough of the projected plan for meeting the program goals. That was underdeveloped, they said. So I feel a little bit, upset about it because I probably shot too high. I think even looking at $5,000, maybe that was a deterrent right away, that maybe I asked for too much money. But I really think we have a hole, and before I was even hired, they were working on trying to get outreach hours through the formula grant. So I think we really have, we have a definite need for an outreach person or outreach hours or outreach something. So it's unfortunate because this is a 2 or 3 year grant, so that means we won't get funded for that. But I did have some good news from Yvonne. We have positive thinkers. We spoke the other day with a woman about the survey, which we'll talk about, from Boston, UMass Boston, and looking into foundation monies and looking into other funding so that we could possibly get an outreach component. I mean, outreach is that's like a key word on all the COAs. I mean, I know we're small, I know, there's not a lot of funding, but I think outreach is so important. There's a lot of unmet needs. When we move into the annual report, we have 80 new people that are coming to the center. And whether they came just to get some medical equipment or if they came, to find out what activities we have or
Play pickleball.
Pickleball is key. We've got a dozen people playing pickleball. So, we're heading in the right direction. We're using other venues. We're trying to create programs that are enticing maybe younger seniors. We have some later afternoon and evening programs coming up where I'm just going to do flex hours where I'll come in at 11 or 1 and work late. And the office will be manned by the volunteer coordinator until she leaves at 11. So we're trying to be creative with the hours that we do have and with the space we do have. I think we're doing the best with what we have, and I don't know if we want to talk about the report. Do we want to talk about the formula grant?
But my one comment would be maybe if you could invite Kelly to come in at some point, and this is 3 little check marks that don't really explain much in detail, that if we are going to learn from their expectation to get the grant money, we need to better understand what this means. So maybe we could work towards that.
Yeah, I was
what the rest of you
wondering
guys
if
think.
there's some better description
She was
or
not
definition
very
about
accessible. Well, we've talked
community
about that,
partnership.
the Hidden Valley. It's not very accessible. I've never, experienced this with a AAA. They're supposed to be our umbrella. They're supposed to be our fall net. They're supposed to be help. I mean, we're a small COA. They're a large organization. I know they do serve our Meals on Wheels people. I know they do some other community things. They work a lot in other communities. We're one of, 27 or 28. But I really feel that they're not doing the part for Southampton. And I don't know why that is. I really want to look at maybe another contact person.
So they are the AAA in our...
They are our region, right, like Western Mass,
Talking about
Elder Care,
AAA over the weekend.
and
Yeah.
Greater Springfield Senior Service.
So what is it? I missed that. What is the AAA?
It's the area
They're
agency.
ASAPs, Area Senior Access Point. So in the Springfield area, it's Greater Springfield Senior Services. In Holyoke Chicopee, it's West Mass Elder Care. And in Greenfield, it's called Life Path. It used to be Franklin County Home Care
So the
Corporation.
federal monies
In
and
our
all that
area, and
comes.
federal and state. And I have, there's Life Path in Greenfield, and then there's Highland Valley Elder Service. That's my opinion. That's been from being around in the valley for a long time. You know, putting students in senior centers and all that kind of stuff. I just think that, I agree though with Janet, getting somebody there who can come out and talk to what Highland Valley, we should have a liaison. I mean, they're not really servicing our community, that's my opinion.
Would that be something that Joan would reach out to them, or could
Well, I
somebody
really
from the
think we
board
need to
do it?
change the board member at this time. There's 2 board members that are not helping us at all. And I think we need to, one wants to leave, and one, her term is up next year. Do we wait another year? Or, I mean, I know I don't have a lot of time, but in other places, the directors are the liaison at other ASAPs.
Do we have any say in that?
Well, I'm gonna reach out to the executive director and have a discussion now that this process is complete.
Yeah.
So, because it does state that most of the representatives are something, the Community Council on Aging, the Community Council on Aging.
Yep.
So, I will speak to them and see what,
Do you know who he is?
who, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met him a couple
Okay.
times. And I know they're having something this week, right?
They already had it last night.
Oh, it was last
Yvonne
night.
went, and she was not really impressed.
Yeah, I went last year, and Josie went last year, too.
I
They
wasn't
have
impressed.
at Hadley Farms.
It was Hadley Farms, a beautiful venue,
Yeah.
a large venue, too large for the limited number of vendors. And I did not see that it was well attended. And as I spoke with Joan this morning, I noticed that there was no inclusion of, say, Westfield, Springfield, Holyoke. And the reality is those are hospitals and V&As that our community uses. They use those.
Yeah.
So, but it just
Big
seemed as though there was a paucity of vendors and people attending.
Okay. All right, so we'll talk about that, I think, in more detail.
So you're going to reach out to him?
Yeah, I'll reach out to Alan and see if I can.
I mean, just
Get a
as an
meeting.
FYI, when I was just reviewing our grant, and I looked at the people that we were including, like Mercy Life, Holyoke, VNA, Hospice
We
Life.
have 2 representatives here.
Right. I did notice in the Highland Valley Elder Services, when you and I went to attend the meeting on how to write a grant.
The training, yeah.
The training. And the RFP criteria proposals. I'm not sure I understand that this is as important as it appears to be. All proposals should demonstrate a partnership with a COA in our 24-hour town service. It's almost to me as if, but that's not all you partner with.
I mean, it's like our police department, it's our only 24-hour.
Right, I mean, it...
Or the highway
just-
department.
Well,
Fire.
we do Mercy Life, again, Holyoke VNA, Hospice Life.
Well, I think we need to have a better understanding then of what their expectations are, because, you know, Joan's been involved in many grants over her tenures, and, you know, that just blows my mind a little bit. I mean, it even says in the letter that not everybody was fully funded the amount they requested, so shooting too high, if they thought it was just too much money for what we were asking, they could have reduced the dollar amount. So that's, but to leave out 3 communities, and I don't know who the other 2 are, so I'd like to find that out as well, so. Okay, so you want to take a look at the state formula grant?
Okay.
Is that good
That's
now, or
great.
do you have something
No,
else?
that's great. I'm
Sorry.
going to peek at yours because I think I really do have it somewhere, but I have to shuffle. So what we added in, what was lacking was coverage when I was away. There was a day that we closed the center.
Do you have that,
and-
Reenie?
I do.
Okay.
And, you know, we felt, well, it was our intention that we really need to keep either the center open if we don't keep the office open, or, you know, that the office just needs to be open certain times. So we've added 10 hours to both Darlene and Flo's position so that we have coverage when I'm away. Like tonight, I'm leaving for a conference in Danvers, the fall annual convention. So Darlene will be here till 3 o'clock. She'll have an extra hour, and Flo will open the building, stay for her hours, and then come at 3 and close the building, so that people can come and go through the center as needed.
Yeah, I mean, like other departments don't have activities going on constantly, so when closing the center means closing, shutting off the activities that people look forward to. So we talked to Ed, because that's the reporting structure, and he agreed that this was the best way to cover it. So we don't have the monies in, certainly the town budget. I mean, every department gets challenged with if somebody's closed, how do you keep the office open? But at the senior center, it's a little bit different, unique scenario. So we may not use the whole 10 extra hours, or Joan's 20 extra hours for evening programs, but I know there was a number of evening programs we ran last year that time was donated, that it wasn't paid. So that's certainly not a good labor practice, so we want to make sure that we
But
cover
they
that.
have been checking hours and how many hours we're using, and I do have Darlene, who's going to be out about, I don't know, what did I say, 60 hours? I don't have that paperwork in front of me. But anyway, it's a savings of 300 plus hours, $300 plus. And so that can be utilized, as far as I know, it can be transferred to my line if I need it. But I mean, I'm not going to overuse it if I have to be here to do a newsletter, or if I have to be here to do a program. As it was, the, Celebrate Southampton and the Fun Walk, that was all donated time. I mean, everybody else was donated time too. So I don't mind coming to do, giving donated time, because I feel very strongly that the center should be open more than it is. So, I'll do the best I can. But if I'm actually doing a report or something that is part of my job, I should be paid for the time that I'm here.
The one thing we're changing, and this was after I spoke with Ed as well, because we are have had a PRF, personnel requisition form, for those people that don't know all of our acronyms by heart, so that we can post a job for a backup driver. So if Richard goes away for 2 days, and we have some critical people that have to get to doctor's appointments, we have a driver. So what we're going to do is fund that from the state formula grant. Joan reached out to the head of the EOEA and the state formula grant and got that approved yesterday. So instead of trying to pay for it out of the monies in FRITA, and that's a tight budget, we're going to use the state formula grant for any backup time. So that may be maybe 2 weeks of vacation time, which is like 8 days, and I don't know that we'll use the whole 8 days, and then sick days and personal days. So we're going to probably put somewhere, if I look at 75 hours, or 75 hours or 70 hours, I think it comes to right under $1,000. So we're going to take some money from the back page of the grant, which is transportation, and put it under driver.
Okay, so then instead of taking it from programming, we'll take it from...
Well, I will have to take it from a couple different places.
Okay, because, so...
Because we didn't
I
really
will
use the
redo this
transportation.
and resend it to everyone, but we'll put $1,000 as an on-call driver, and then, we'll probably take 500 from the front and 500 from the back.
Yeah, I mean, that way, because we really, the biggest challenge we all know of all centers is the transportation. So when Richard goes, now that he's benefited and he gets 2 weeks of vacation, we need to make a plan that we don't strand anybody. And the volunteers don't always work out perfectly, and we don't have wheelchair accessible cars, and so that's been the plan. So that was approved.
Sorry, I wrote on your paper.
Do you have any questions on that?
No, but I'm just going to make a recommendation then.
Sure.
That at least the 20-hour evening program, that you consider adding that to the operational budget next year.
We tried to do.
You tried, I know.
We tried to do that
I'm
this
just
year.
suggesting that you do it again.
Okay, we'll try every year. It's not a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away. But thank you. Yeah, I don't want to, I prefer not to pay, Joan for that time out of this grant.
Yeah.
But,
Well, we're
in a
fortunate
pinch.
that we were able to get the, money to have my fully paid from the from the town budget. So that, I mean, that's one big accomplishment.
That was pretty good during our override.
Yes,
But I
yes,
still think
yeah.
that your hours should come out of the operating budget.
And it
Yes, and we will
absolutely
work to
should.
do that.
I look at other departments, they're working 32 hours a week. I'm 26 hours a week. I mean, it's hard to run a department on,
And the center may close at 3, but when you have after-hour programs or, you know, or just even late afternoon programs, then it's, yeah, we will try to do that. It's not like trying to increase your hours a straight 32 hours a week because it varies, so it's just trying to figure out how the best way, and I'll defer to both finance and select board kind of to understand the best way to put together in the
When can you do that?
next budget season.
Which is when?
so they start in January, February to
Okay.
Yeah, and then it'll be effective next July.
July
And town
1st.
meeting will be in May.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm excited about our Spanish class. It's full. There's 12 people. In fact, he's having a carryover class today for people who missed it. And he's excited about it. I think the students, we have a couple of the students here. Maybe I'll let
Three of us.
I'll let you speak to the Spanish class.
You have to speak in Spanish, though.
And none of it will understand you, so you can say anything and we'll go, oh, that's great.
We
I won't speak for every, I'll just speak for myself.
What were you going to say, Lori?
I said, bien. I said to Tony this morning, I said, I can practice, and I can't remember. And he said, it's like throwing something against the wall. He says, keep doing it. He says, eventually it sticks. I said, oh, so next week you're going to throw me against the wall so that I remember. But it's so frustrating because I'll do a whole sentence and I'm in the car and the mouth is going a mile a minute. And I get out of the car and I go, what was it?
Are you listening to Spanish on tapes? What?
No, but Nancy gave me a good idea about Spanish on TV. You know, and I think
Or
hearing
radio.
it, yeah.
Yeah, they say it's great for the brain, you know, to learn new languages or math or something.
Right.
So I think it's a great class. And I'm glad, it was Tony that thought of it, so I'm glad he did.
I hope he does it again. I just
Yeah.
can't go the day, it's Thursdays, right?
It's Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. Why can't I go Wednesday? Oh, because I've got something else every Wednesday. Yeah.
So the problem is Tony.
Too busy. And you know, that's it. Many people are very busy. And I think, you know, gee, the center's empty, but I know that our town is a very busy town. People they're not really sitting home and watching television. They're out there doing things, so.
And I will say I'm very happy with the pickleball growth. I mean, we have 2 courts that we can use, and they're filled with overflow every Monday and Thursday pretty much. We have a clinic on Sunday. We have 10 people sign up. We have openings for 16 in total. So we're going to use painter's tape and tape on 2 more courts since we have the 4 nets, so that should be interesting. And that was her suggestion. And somebody's coming that distributes paddles, pickleball paddles. She's a distributor, so she's going to come and let people try different paddles
That's great.
also. So if anybody wants to sign up and not playing golf that afternoon,
Yeah, who won the paddle? Did you win the paddle?
Yes.
And Cindy Palmer.
you can come
So it's Mondays and
Thursdays mornings. But you can go
And of course I have some-
any time. I mean, the
Long as you
nets are
find
here,
another- yeah,
you know, once
player.
you learn, I mean, I keep trying to encourage the group. You don't have to wait for me to set it up. You can go to Joan and say, I want to check it out. I ordered a big outdoor container for
Oh, good.
while we're playing, so we don't have to lug it back and forth. And it came missing 2 parts, 2 bent pieces. This is the second time I've ordered this, so I've gotten it 80% together, so hopefully I get those parts in and before the winter comes. Otherwise, I'll take it apart and put it back in the box and we'll wait till spring, so.
And I have to commend Jana and Francine and their whole gang. I mean, without their leadership, it wouldn't have taken off. I mean, they know a lot of people that are active and they're getting them there, and it's exciting. And I heard that you might become the ambassador to Southampton.
Yes, that way we can order things from Pickleball Central and get a discount plus get monies back to the COA based on the volume. That, I mean, I'm far from an ambassador like Shannon is an ambassador. We had somebody, Lori's daughter-in-law showed up last Thursday and gave quick mini lessons. She's like, oh yeah, at hotels we put a chair down and we just dink over the back of the chair. I'm like, you need a life. But she's really great, and she did some training and some exercises, and, you know.
Is she the
was
same
really-
one that's coming?
No,
there's
the other one is Yvonne
She's
Ting,
flying.
and she's like nationally ranked in the senior games, the woman that's coming. So a very good instructor and very
They
knowledgeable,
actually
so.
have senior games. Are they televised?
I
They don't have to.
I
don't
will
know.
share this. Last year, my daughter and her wife decided to take part in the senior games, and we learned humility real quick. We were way out of our element.
Do you do anything regularly on Sunday, or is it mostly Monday, Thursday?
It's mostly Monday and Thursday, but we'll probably try to have a second. She said she would do a second one. She wants me to limit it to no more than 16 because she doesn't want people standing around. So I'm hoping we get, Joan and I and Francine will probably line 2 courts sometime, either late Saturday or early Sunday, so that they're ready for Sunday afternoon. But yeah, I know there's a group in town that would like to play on Sundays, and yeah, we'll get in touch.
Make it a little later, not early in the morning.
No, this is
No, 'cause
afternoon,
people
2:30,
have-
3 o'clock.
Well, and we're not married to those times, and the one thing we need to do is get a sign made up for Sunday that the courts are reserved for pickleball
We never
clinic.
did put those signs up.
But just
there,
for
Lynn,
Sunday, because I
know.
can't have a tennis player coming in when we're doing
Right.
this, so. And anyway, I won't go down that road. Okay, but pickleball's been great. What else?
So it's
Yes,
been a
anything?
busy month. I finally did get the annual report, and like I said, our numbers are all up. We've doubled just about everything. Our ridership is up. You know, I'm just excited about the whole concept of increasing and, you know, and getting people involved.
Nice job, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent.
I think the fact that you're doing some later time events is a biggie, because people who work can now attend.
And the reason we started pickleball in the morning, Josie, was because it was like 85 degrees in the
Right.
Oh, yeah.
afternoon in the hot
Oh,
sun.
makes
So, I mean, we're
sense.
very flexible, and, you know, if somebody says,
Yeah,
let's
next
do it.
season, we could talk about an evening, you know, pickleball.
Well, it's not I'm not at issue with it because I'm sleeping.
No, I understand. I'm just too busy. I'm just too busy in the morning.
Going on, so.
Because we were all thinking that. Okay. And then the Go for Life Family Walk, I think, was great.
I got pictures. Let's see if anybody wants to see them. I can pass them around. It was excellent. We had 40 people, so we matched what we had last year. So you can all take a gander at, that's the Go for Life. So
And there
a
was,
picture's worth 1,000 words.
Joan and I talked this morning about the potential, and it's just a potential, of the walk that was occurring today with the school kids, that one could perhaps join that with grandparents, parents, kids, great-grandparents, and make that part of an intergenerational walk. We could join them.
Yeah, I mean, I see, they walk
They go to
from
the
here
school,
to the
yeah.
North School. You don't go by, you didn't get held up by it today, but it's,
Oh, okay.
and
I did.
I'm gonna suggest, Joan, before we move off pickleball, maybe if you could interview a couple of the players and put it in the newsletter.
Oh, that's neat.
And just kind of get some, you know,
Yes.
the people that are new to the senior center, and,
Yeah, that's great.
okay, just as a thought.
Yeah, because they're people that are very active in the community, and all of a sudden, now they're connected. They're the ones that want to say they're not old, you know. They're first to tell you.
There are a lot
"I'm
of
not
us like
old."
that.
I know.
You know, I was thinking, because I
You
was.
don't have to be old to come to the senior center. I'm going to have to get a new motto. Oh, we need to talk about
can
that
do
too.
list.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the list.
One of the things I was thinking about when we were doing the walk, which I enjoyed, but, you know, it might be worth having 2 routes. One, the one that we did, and then one that goes down, you know, along Route 10 on the sidewalk, although that's a little shaky sidewalk sometimes. And then up High Street from the cemetery up that direction. There's definitely an incline, but it's not nearly as steep as going up Center or Maple Street. And then you come down Maple. And that might be a nice walk for people who are a little more fit than just having to walk on the flats, and might attract some more people too. And it's a pretty walk.
Do you go as far as Farmer?
No, you just go this way to the
The
cemetery.
cemetery, take a left on High
Oh.
Street, and then go up High Street to Maple, and then
Oh.
walk down Maple.
Okay. So the cemetery, that street there is not as the incline that...
It's not a direct, it's more of a gradual.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky if you have cars, but I mean,
Yeah.
Yes, we could.
I'd have to say, it was great that the police really helped set things up.
They were
And they
wonderful.
were really much more involved.
Very much.
Mark Rober came in.
That was a
and
good meeting at the
we-
center.
It was a spontaneous meeting.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
but
wrote
that
it
was
down,
awesome.
and they did a terrific job.
Yeah.
I actually think the most difficult part for some people might be just walking down the sidewalk on Route 10, because there's some dips there, and if you're not watching your feet, you might, somebody might stumble, but,
We'll have our walkers try it out. We'll have
Yeah, that's-
Yvonne, that's what happened.
There are testing
There are
groups, so-
test, yeah, test walkers.
yeah.
But I
Yeah,
don't
so
know,
we'll
I
walk
think
through.
the idea of having intergenerational walk with the kids is wonderful. They have such a huge walk already. I mean, it would be nice if we could just join them, but I can't imagine the cars and everything else that
Well,
goes
it
with
would be
that.
nice if we could join them, because that will attract attention. That could attract attention.
And we also talked about if there's another Celebrate Southampton, maybe kicking off the Go for Life
Yes,
walk that
the
Saturday
same day.
morning. And then doing,
That's an
something, so
awesome-
it's a
Yeah.
collective part
Yes.
of that process.
That's a great idea,
We'll see.
as long as it's not during the Democratic Convention.
Yeah. It's usually in June, we're okay next year.
Oh, good.
Okay, health fair, care for the caregivers. We had that in the newsletter.
I hope
Which
people
is
will
the-
attend. We did opt for the 3 to 5 instead of the 6 to 8 because we figured, we'd maybe get the people getting out of work. I don't know. And it's starting to get dark earlier, so we didn't know if people would come back for it. But anyway, I think I'm going to try more that 3 to 5 extension, just to see if we can get some people in
And
that
I think we have,
timeframe.
for the luncheon meeting, we have 30 people, I think, signed up so far. There's usually a last minute rush. So we should have a good group for you on Friday.
What's the date on the Mercy Life?
24th. Okay. Treasurer's report.
Sure.
Is that, are you done, Joan? Did
I am. Thank you.
Sorry.
Nice. Well, hopefully everybody got it.
Yes.
And and I don't know if you had a chance to look at the comments, the little corner triangles. They're yellow, so they're not very easily seen when you're on your computer. And of course, it doesn't work when you're just got paper. But for the Frida, and this was the main enhancement, I will say, to the report this time around, was that I've added, increased the amount that we're adding for administration and benefits to the Frida wage and expense line by 2%. So it's now 11.5% that gets added.
Like an overhead type of.
Right.
And I just want to just comment though on, once, we're very fortunate Richard doesn't need health benefits, otherwise we'd have to cut his hours down because we don't have enough. It's like, could be up to $15,000, which is half of our budget, and we really can't afford to have a benefited position that wants health benefits as a driver, so we're very lucky. At some point in time in the future, we'll have to re-examine that. If he gives us some hints that he's looking to move on and retire for real, we're going to have to redo that PCF and put it in a non-benefited position, because we just can't afford that, so. We're lucky with Richard right now, so, in many ways.
Right. Well, it would be,
It'd be a much greater percent if he was health benefit.
Right.
And we still have to do a discussion with Frida and how their other council on agings, how many hours their drivers do, how do they do their insurance,
Yeah.
how does that all come down? Because it's something that I'm not familiar with. I don't know how, you know, all that extra out-of-pocket stuff that is important to having a person working. We'll have to figure that all out like you said, in the future, but we should know how that all works and how other communities are dealing with that.
Okay.
And that would need to be a part of that conversation, I think.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, ideally, the
Well-
town would pick it up, but I understand that. Tight.
We're unique because we don't have, most places, other departments don't have grant money that sponsors programs like this, so we're kind of unique in that. So it's, you know, it's not like other places, other workers in town are getting health care by the town and supported by a grant. We're very unique in
Right.
that respect.
And we're having growing pains right now, you know, trying to figure that out.
So any questions?
Looks
Pretty simple.
The $200 is from a memorial from Teresa.
Right.
Right.
And I know the Friends, I think, got over 800, so there's about $1,000 just in memorials.
Okay.
Make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
Any additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, old new business. You may notice there's someone missing from the table this morning. Liz sent us a letter the other day, and I will share it with you. I regret to inform all of you that I'm resigning from my position as the vice chair on the COA board. I recently accepted a new position at my job and no longer have the flexibility in my schedule to attend monthly meetings on Wednesday mornings. I hope to continue helping with events and activities for seniors. I'll volunteer in the future. Thank you again for allowing me to participate on the board for the past 2 years. I truly enjoyed this experience working with all of you.
Oh dear, that's too bad.
Yeah, so.
I just updated this, you know. Now I have to update it again.
I'll leave her name on there. I think one of the things we and maybe not this meeting, because we still have a lot of things, but maybe in the next
I
couple.
do have to leave by 11.
Okay, yeah, I think we're all on that page. Is that, we should talk about, is the meeting best at 9:30 in the morning? Or if we move it to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, would we attract more of the younger seniors to participate that aren't working or whatever? So it's just something to think about. We'll talk about it later on. I don't know for you two if it's easier morning or afternoon, or you're just, it's not easy
It's
at either time?
If it's once a month, then it's doable.
Okay.
So I just need to have a lot of lead time. I think
Yeah.
in a class, a mandatory class the next Wednesday. So it might be easier, but it's hard to know because then it runs right into town meetings in the evening, so.
Yeah, usually
My only
Wednesday,
request would
yeah.
be maybe that you'd be able to go to department head meetings.
Yeah,
Like-
that's the problem too.
Like, I just feel like if we want really to have you have a seat at the table, then to be here instead of there is unfortunate in my mind.
Yeah, if you're missing 50% of the, because they're twice a month, and you're here once a month, then you're.
So, and it probably is tomorrow because the select board meeting's tonight, and
So
I'll miss
that's
it
not a
because I'll be at a
problem.
conference, so. But you're right, I did feel badly about missing the last one because I'm sure there were some key things that came up. But anyway, I was at the second one, and, you know, it wasn't 100% attendance for that either, so.
But, yeah,
I don't know
definitely.
why they can't make the meeting at 1 o'clock or something like that to accommodate too. I mean, if they know that the COA has a monthly meeting at Wednesdays at 9:30, why they can't have the department head meeting at 1 o'clock or some other time. But anyway, I haven't asked Ed that, so
ask.
I will.
After you miss this next one tomorrow. No. Okay, so, which means we need to appoint a vice chair. So, rather than appoint, is there anyone who would like to volunteer to be a vice chair? Don't everybody speak up at
Yeah,
once.
right.
I think the treasurer's heart, you have enough on your plate,
Yeah.
so you're,
I agree on that.
And Nancy's the
You're off.
secretary, see how that worked?
so, I mean, it's just a matter, you know, as a vice chair of if there's if I have a conflict, just being able to run a meeting occasionally.
That's funny, Liz ran the last meeting.
Yeah, I know, she
It was
ran
too
the
much
last-
for her, that was it.
Put her over the top.
She couldn't get the recorder to work.
That took care of it.
So I will give you a month to think about it before you put me in the awkward position of appointing someone and you declining. But
I
anyway.
will volunteer.
Yay. I was gonna
Miss
nominate.
Lori.
Well, I had Nancy took over my job.
Wow, thank you. Boy, that was.
But I will not be here next month.
So you better be.
I better be here then. But then it goes to the secretary, I think, has to run the meeting.
I didn't read that. The rules.
Thank you, Lori. That would be, I mean, really, I know that it's,
Yeah, I have a medical at 10 in
Okay.
Springfield next month.
can you change that?
No.
It's
I
so
changed
easy to
one.
change medical appointments.
Going on the trip on Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I had an appointment with the neurologist. Now I have an appointment December 31st.
Oh, no. Oh, dear. That's not fair.
We don't party till later that day anyway, so you're in good shape.
Maybe he's serving champagne when I get there, who knows?
Okay, other new old business is the presentation that Rinnie's doing a week from Friday. Anything that we can do to help promote that? Any at bingo, you know, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it should be, do you have an outline? Do we have an outline, sort of what you're going to cover or anything that we can stick up?
I'm coming with the executive director, whose name is Deb Strempek, and she's going to be covering the VNA services that we offer at the Holyoke VNA, and also the joint replacement program. And I will be covering the palliative care program and the hospice program.
Everybody get that, Nancy?
Wow, that's a lot.
How do you spell her last name?
Strempek.
S-T-R-E-M.
And it's D-E-B-R-A.
P-E-K?
Yeah,
It's
Am I-
what, Deborah?
Deborah.
D-E-B-R-A?
I believe our liaison, Michelle Pease, will also be coming.
Okay. Yeah, so any of the classes that are coming up, if we can help to promote that, and the luncheon, which is always a good.
We do that at break time. Joan will come out and let the 25 attendees at bingo.
Well, today I'll be on my conference, so I'll give it to Darlene to do.
There you go.
But I think, was it joint replacement? Is that, I think there's, I mean, so much of that. I think that's an important
Yeah.
topic.
For all ages,
Yes.
you know. Okay, great, thanks,
If
Rini.
you had any suggestions, I mean, palliative is one of those things that is very poorly understood. The word is even awkward for a lot of people. And unfortunately, unlike hospice, palliative doesn't have a benefit of its own. So it looks different depending on where it's offered. So that makes it really challenging. So we have a palliative care home care program, and it's mostly for people going through active chemotherapy or radiation, but also people with advanced CHF or COPD, to try to keep them out of the hospital and to keep a consistent team, everybody working together on top of what's happening. So it's a really good program, but it's hard for people to understand. So if you had suggestions, please feel.
Reimbursement is certainly one of, I think, the things
Yeah.
that, and I know that that's not an easy one, because
Yeah.
especially for, I think it's palliative, that it's can be
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely address that. Because some places have palliative at the hospital, which is a Medicare specialty, like physician thing. And then our program it's a subset of the VNA. So anyway, it's reimbursed the way a VNA program would be reimbursed, same as the joint replacement
I
program.
mean, I know that
So it's covered under Medicare
they lost
Pay, 100%.
positions in the palliative care program because of reimbursement, but that may have changed.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if it has.
Are you going to be able to attend?
Referred by a
On
doctor.
the 11th? Oh, good.
I am
You have to
attending.
be referred by a doctor.
You can self-refer, and then our agency
Or not, but
reaches out to the doctor. There's very few doctors that will say,
They've
no, you
requested
can't have
having
this
more
service.
information.
But you can self-refer.
I think it's.
And what's Deborah's title?
Executive Director.
Okay.
And mine is Director of Hospice and Palliative Care. Joan, what did you say?
I I was saying that they requested more informational things, like this is so important.
Yeah.
That, the entertainment isn't that entertaining, and when you're learning something that's this, it's needed, yes. So, anyway, I'm glad to see that we're gonna have, and we'll talk it up, try to get some more people involved.
Okay, just another comment, Medicare for All, Lindsay will be here again on October 10th. I think it's at 6 o'clock. Just to kind of ask questions, give people a chance to share concerns, explain what it really means. It certainly isn't restricted to the seniors. It's because it's, as it says, for all. And so if you have any questions, or just spread the word about that too, I'll be sending out more information on that. So we also had a conference call with UMass Boston about a community needs assessment. Yvonne was there, or you go by Yvette now?
I was going to pick up on that.
Yvonne and Joan and myself, and Ed came in as well. They offered 2 packages. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Nancy was there. Nancy took copious notes.
Hopefully you all got them.
Those notes were excellent. Those are excellent notes.
I did not see
I
them
didn't
yet,
see them
but I'm
this
sure
morning.
they're.
Yeah.
The last notes, I saw one set of notes, was there 2 sets of notes?
Just this morning.
Yeah, there was, okay.
Oh, I didn't see anything this morning.
Well, then we can just read the notes.
This
What's
is-
the?
Yeah, let me just go
The
to,
notes on that phone call.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
see that
yeah,
okay?
Nancy was
No,
kind enough to
that's okay.
take, she was participating in the call and offered to take the notes, and I really appreciate trying to capture as
Yeah.
much
Sorry,
as
I didn't get them
possible.
out earlier.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to find them on here.
And of course,
Actually, I could look
considering
it up on
our
This.
denial of the grant, again, I tend to look at things like there's one obstacle, there's a way around all obstacles. And the potential funding source is part of her notes. State foundations, Tufts Health, AARP, local and regional, I'm not quite sure, what that means, but there's nothing that says we can't give a call again to, I think her name is Caitlin, I have to go back and take a look.
Yes.
Friends, Community Compact, State Process, and CHNA. And she had emphasized, the AARP as being something that you had to make sure it fell into the, I think, healthy community range. But you've got it in the notes
Yeah,
here.
going to my spam.
So,
Why?
to me,
I have it,
it
yeah.
looks like that a $15,000 or $30,000 cost, state foundation, we need to go and take a real good look at this, because this is going to give us exactly what we really want.
So
Okay.
Yvonne was good enough to look at other colleges in the area to see if there's other programs, so we can do our due diligence from a cost perspective. And so far,
Right, so far, the only, of course, with UMass Amherst, as soon as, and I went into their graduate programs and so forth, and as soon as you look at gerontological studies or surveys, they go right back to McCormick School in UMass Boston, so they're not replicating, of course. But Westfield has a Master's in Public Administration or Nonprofit Management. I have the name of the Linnell Kuzankowski, Political Science Department Assistant. I'm going to give a call to her.
doesn't sound like it's kind of like the same, yeah,
They may have them under different...
buried underneath
Yeah,
somewhere.
right.
Yep.
And somebody can always give you direction. So I'm going to try that one, and I'm going to try Elms because they have graduate studies, because I don't think undergraduates, this is not something you're going to find in an undergraduate program.
It is a research department too.
That's right.
So, it's...
That's right.
Obviously the cost is it's somewhere, they'll fluctuate based on the size of the community. So the highest
It's
30,000.
the cost of our transportation
Yes.
grant. I just, it's very high.
But if we'll look for other foundation monies or...
Absolutely. Go
and
take a look
Yvonne's
for it.
looking
Look at it. And so any suggestions that people
She
have
said
about
she would help
foundations...
with grant writing.
Say it again, please?
She said she would help with grant writing.
Yes.
They offer
For
that.
cost, they will
Yeah.
take that off of the grant. Their
Really?
cost is put into the grant.
Yeah. So the age-friendly community, our challenge here in Southampton is we're not a very age-friendly community. unfortunately. We don't have a lot of sidewalks, we don't have a downtown area. You know, we don't have PVTA running through town, you know, so we have some challenges in just even getting that designation, but certainly, because it's something we've looked at. But if, as we look to our future and where we need to go in the future, we need to start collecting the data and doing and I asked her already about interns. You know, she said typically I don't do that, but she would be open to figuring that out, so. And then I don't know if it's something that community preservation, I know they've done other studies. I don't know if it's anything that would fall under their jurisdiction or not. I know when we were doing, I think, studies for the open space, but that's more community preservation, so I'm not sure they would do.
What bucket it would fall into, because it's
Yeah.
not really housing, it's not historic, and it's not open space, so. It would just
Unless
have
it
to be
goes
the
under
administrative.
housing somehow to, because that's part of the study, but
Age friendly.
in age friendly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's a lot of money, and we have to figure out where we would get that. And but I think it's something. If I look at the master plan, I mean, certainly direction of that is to look into our aging community, to go from 1,200 to over 2,000, and 10 years is pretty significant growth. They worked with Easthampton, they worked with Belchertown, so we need to talk to them, those communities as well, and see what kind of funding did you use for this? I mean, I know they're bigger communities, and they gave us a couple smaller communities that they worked with as well, and see how they were able to fund it.
Belchertown is really not that large.
It's not that big, right?
I was surprised with the assessment information sent out. And when I looked at Belchertown, I was amazed at what a small town it really was. It might be a good source.
Small in population, very large in geography. Yeah.
Right, but not population.
And I don't think
They
it's
were one of the
wealthy.
first ones
No.
to build a freestanding senior center, Belchertown.
were they?
And they did it with their complex, their safety complex.
But yeah, as we move in that direction, we need to plan in advance. We don't need to be reacting to something. And then we would need to work with the select board to try to move that forward. So, and Ed, and that's why he was there. So, anybody else, Nancy, you have anything to add from your observation?
No, she did say that the fee, the cost could go down.
Based on the
given our
size
size
of
of
the
our community is so
Yeah.
small. So we don't really know the cost.
But we should work with Belchertown, maybe give them a call and see, I don't know what year it was, and it could have been that.
I'll check at the conference. I don't know
Yeah,
if they're
you
going to
see
be
them or
represented.
Easthampton.
Yes.
Speak to East- And the other thing that I saw is that Easthampton has a van that was donated by Nikki Dees. And so if you get a chance, not in the next day and a half, then, how does that function?
And these vans get donated. PVTA was donating vans, and East Hampton Savings Bank donated a van to places, but it's all the overhead. It's the
Right,
drivers
right.
and the
The
insurance
gasoline
and the
and- yep,
gasoline and the mechanics. It's not just the van.
Right, no, that's one, that's probably
it's
the
just
more.
the small component. That's probably, might have been the easiest part to do.
Yeah.
It's the program itself is really costly.
I'd be curious how they're funding that as well, so.
I just wonder how much difference, because we're paying for a level of maintenance, we're paying for gas, with Frida, but I don't know how that would compare if we had our own van.
Yeah, I don't either, but they give us the 30,000, that's the part that would be
Yeah.
missing, that's so, okay, but I mean, certainly interested in exploring that.
Question?
Yes.
Nancy, on the notes, I noticed down here that under potential funding sources, CHNA, Community Health Network Alliance, we are part of CHNA 3 Partnership for Health in Hampshire County. Caitlin reports that we could receive local money from health systems. Your quick search was fruitless, and
I did a quick search and I couldn't find anything on them. It sounded like just a designation.
So, and what I was...
That the state is
Cooley
broken up.
Dickinson
Yeah,
possibility
we
of
went to a
checking?
presentation from Cooley Dickinson on CHNA. Do you remember? It was at the Senior Center in
Refresh my
Northampton.
mind. Oh,
And they were just doing a survey, basically, and as participants, we were helping them determine needs of the community, but it wasn't.
oh, okay.
But I do remember seeing some town that said, and this was probably a year or so ago, that said they got grant money from a CNHA.
She called it Community Network Alliance, not needs assessment.
Okay.
I found that when I went on
Okay,
the search.
okay. Gotcha.
But Network Alliance really wasn't anything that seemed helpful, but I don't know, have you ever heard of that?
Oh, all the time. Like I had students that were actually working through the CHNA, they call it, I guess. Jeff Harness is the expert on that, and he's at Cooley Dickinson. He's involved with community engagement. He'd be the perfect person to reach out to.
Harness?
It's Jay Harness at, I can get you his email address.
Okay, yeah.
But he's been a long-time public health person. His job at Cooley is to really be the outreach person, and he's also, he's an incredible individual.
Okay, he may have been the main presenter, I don't remember the name.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
And it's Harness, Harness?
Yeah, Jeff Harness, Harness.
Jeff with a J.
Yep.
And he is outreach in what department?
Yeah, let me just, I can just Google him quickly.
Probably, yeah,
but,
it probably comes up.
I probably have his emails somewhere too, but he would be a good contact for us anyway, because he's just involved in public health and the CHNA, and just a lot of, he's involved with community engagement. And I know that he was at the opening of the
Oh, at the
Urgent
Urgent
Care
Care.
Center. He's kind of involved with all aspects of community engagement. And he does surveys all the time. He's a big public health person. He would be a big help.
Okay.
Because she really seemed to think that was a way to get some kind of grant.
Okay.
Do you want to be the contact person with him and then give it to me? Or do you want me to?
Why don't you go ahead with that, because you're
Yeah.
kind of taking the lead on this, and
Yeah.
I'm happy
Jeff is the
to.
Director of Community Health and Government Relations for Cooley Dickinson Healthcare. So
Do you know how long he's been there?
he's been there a really long time. He used to work for the Department of Public Health. He used to run the library in Florence. Also, I'm just seeing his picture if you remember you seeing him at the event.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'll see, I'll just, see if it has his name.
Okay. I mean, I think,
It's been there a long time.
we definitely need to start planning our future, and, I think it's important that we take this step and figure out how to financially support it. Okay, anything else on that? Thanks, Rini, for bringing him up. That would be great. We can learn a lot. So, has anybody ever heard of caring.com? I got an email from somebody, Anita Martin, Community Outreach and Senior Advocate from caring.com, as a leading senior care resource for family caregivers seeking information and support as they care for aging parents. It went to the Housing Authority, but it's really more about assisted living, home care, memory care facilities, nursing home. I mean, and there's so many organizations out there. I didn't want to, you guys are way more engaged in the community than of that.
They were there yesterday. I think they were there. Do you know where they are located? Caring.com? I swear they were there at.
She just signs a she just signed a community outreach and senior advocate, so.
So there's a group called Oasis that does housing options, and they do, they interview people and say, where are you supposed to, where do you fit in if you're looking to go to assisted living or et cetera. And I'm not sure if it's similar, that it's involved with a lot of housing options.
I'm going to drop it in Google Chrome and see what I come up with.
It says many aging adults are unaware of the available care options and programs that can help them maintain their independence and quality of life. So, I think we're doing a lot of good things to help educate people, but I don't know if you
You want to reach out and see if they'll come to our health fair? I have no idea.
can ask. When is the health fair?
The end of October, the 30th?
30th, okay. Yeah, I have
It's quite a
Yeah.
website.
Okay, caring.com.
It's quite
Okay.
a website. It's 1-800 number.
Yeah, that's what she has here.
Well, there's, it's probably a national thing, and so
Yeah,
they have
and then they go
regional.
by state. I think she's
Yeah.
like a state person for Massachusetts. Do you want me to send you her information? You can reach out to her, so I don't get in the way of your health care.
Sure.
I'll forward it to you, and when you get back next week, if I send it to the right email address.
What's the date of the health fair? It's
The
not
30th,
Okay. What was the date of the Holy Oak one?
23rd.
Okay.
It's the week
Yeah,
before.
you were going to originally do that, and then you changed it, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to be around.
Traveling, are we?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talk about anybody, I just have future funding for the assessment. If anybody else has any thoughts, I think we've done a lot of brainstorming on that already. And I may, as pickleball catches on, see if we can reach out to the community preservation about building pickleball courts in town instead of more baseball fields. So we'll talk.
And what about an indoor venue? Have you thought about
I don't know
yours?
where, I think, what I would like to do is, and I will do, is speak to the phys ed teacher in Norris and see if he would like, or she, is it a him, like to use one or two of our nets over the winter to get the kids involved in it, because, I mean, we have, the equipment's gonna sit, still for,
Yeah, I think Randall's kiddo had learned, but he didn't go to Norris, I don't think.
no, he's not in Norris.
It was the Smith Campus School.
He's at
It's a
Williston,
he.
Northampton now.
Oh,
No, but
yes.
wherever he was, yeah.
It's a he, I'm trying to think of his name now.
Yeah, I think, but so I'll have to look him up then.
Jim.
But I think it's, I mean, if you folks are
Kid would sleep.
okay with me offering our one or two nets for them, I mean, we have 4, and it takes up our storage space, so we can have them store it. And of course, we would ask if there's any time that we would be able to use it as an indoor facility, which I think is probably going to be very difficult with basketball and everything else that goes on at Norris. Do you know more about that
It's a
than?
pretty tight schedule over
Yeah, I
there,
think so.
if I remember correctly.
So we may not be able to use that. I'm wondering if we could use the community church's room for that or something.
Yeah, like West Hampton does.
Yeah, they use their town hall. We don't have enough room, I think, in any of our rooms to do that, but I may speak to,
Although we'll have to.
what do you think? Oh, I forgot, you're right in front of me.
It's an interesting concept. I don't know.
There's a lot of
I
glass
mean,
in that hall.
you'd have to probably, I'm not sure if you could put the tape down like permanently.
Yeah, if it was like the
No.
painter's tape, like we would use.
That's
that
what
could
they
just
do
pull up.
in West, I think at the
In West
YMCA,
Hampton.
didn't they?
Oh, in Westfield? Yeah, I think
they.
they did tape, but I'm not sure it was painter's tape, but.
I don't know. It's an interesting, do you think the room's big enough?
I think the church one, there's too much glass. There's a lot, a lot of
There's a
doors,
lot
those
of-
French doors.
Right, there is.
It's a pretty wide room, though. I mean, the pickleball courts. I mean, we'd have to, if you think they would be interested, we could explore it, but,
The problem is they are pretty busy with
Yeah.
activities as well.
What about the gym, that River Rock place? Do they have a
In
big
Westfield.
I
room?
wouldn't rule it out.
No, here, in
River Rock.
Southampton, the little gym, the 24-hour gym. I've never been there.
don't know
the
how
Soul
big it is.
Fitness.
But I know,
Soul Fitness,
I was a 24-hour fitness in Easthampton, and we had a room that would totally accommodate it.
They're very difficult to get a hold of, because we tried to get a hold of them to see if we could buy a membership
Oh.
for our, but, I know some people that go there that maybe could help us. I mean, that's a good thought, as Soul Fitness.
Or the guy that did the Parkinson's.
The Dopa Fit?
What kind of a space does he have?
It's not big enough for a pickleball.
No. Okay.
So you made me think, though, kind of backtracking on the grant that we were not funded, Island Valley. I wonder if one of those community, what do they call it?
CHNAs?
No, the partnerships. If there could be something, maybe with partnership with the church on certain activities. I don't know if that becomes a separation of church and state. I mean, we wouldn't be, it's not like doing services, but activities that
Using their
might be
facility or something.
useful too.
We've used their space twice for events because
Right.
ours, I didn't feel it was big enough. The next time we have the Small Planet Dancers, we're going to try it in our facility, just to see. Because we did have it over there, but that room is probably just about as big as ours, except that we have that kitchen. We didn't have the kitchen. You have your kitchen separate.
Right.
So, and you have a stage, which you don't have, and they didn't use the stage, so, yeah, I think partnerships are good, you know. I think they wanted to see, you know, Council on Aging partnerships
Yes,
specifically.
that's very possible.
And they give you like this much time to prepare the response to the grant, because you don't see the details until it's due like in less than a month, so that
Of
was.
course, we're going through so much transition now anyway, so maybe that's something to clear up.
Okay. So the next thing is renaming the senior center. So Joan, I think, shared a document where it showed a lot of, you know, different COAs were like kind of renaming their senior centers and gave some samples of what they had done. Do you have those lists or no?
I don't have it right
Who
in
was
front of
it?
me.
Who was there again?
I can do a search on my
I
email.
have it.
I know she had it from last
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
She's a
yeah.
good kid.
So I don't know how you feel about that, but I mean, if we're trying to appeal to different levels of aging, or different stages of aging, that, what was the one that you liked?
I like the one that, the acronym is CAN DO, and it's Center for Adults Next Decade of Opportunity.
Oh, that's
I like
good.
that
It's
too.
long, but, you know, it's,
But it's.
I like the
similar.
CAN DO acronym.
But you could use the acronym COA and think of maybe 3 words that will,
Fit into.
you know, instead of calling it the senior center, call it the COA, which is the Council on Aging, but maybe do something, you know, what is it, community for aging, something, office on aging.
Well, I think it's whether or not you want to use the word aging, and if that becomes a negative to some people.
Yeah.
Because I can remember my mother-in-law, couldn't quite make it to that stage, but anyway, she used to say, oh, there's nothing but old people down there, you know?
So it's
Moving to
trying to
Saxon, and I
transition
can't do
that impression. What are some of the other ones that were listed there?
Well, there's a LAF, LAF, Life After 50.
Oh, that's
Gig,
good.
Gray is good. HAC,
That's not-
HAC, Healthy Aging Center. SCC, Senior and Community Center. AWAC, or AAC, or what, WAAC, Wellness and Activity, or Wellness and Active Adult Center. SWAC, that's WAC, Senior Wellness and Activity Center. And CAN DO, the Center for Adults Next Decade of Opportunity.
I think you need to eliminate the word senior, because I agree with Josie. I mean, my dad was 83, could not get him to a senior center because he didn't want to be with those old people.
And my mother-in-law at 90 felt the same way.
Yeah.
So-
Again, I go back to senior in high school is they're respected because they're the, you know, the 4th year, the senior. So that's kind of how they came up with it, I think. But you know, I can see that we could just use an acronym, as long as we know what it stands for. It doesn't have to be Senior Center, SC, SSC, or, you know, like FOSCOA, Friends of the Senior Council on Aging.
Yeah, it's got to be, if we're going to do it, I think it has to be a bigger step to do it. And I think it has to be an inclusive decision. You know, if we came up with a series of names and had the seniors that use the facility vote on their favorite name, and we can't, the last thing I want to do is change the name and have everybody show up at the next select board meeting. So,
We have 3 signs that have to get changed, so the 2 parking signs and the one that's on
that's
the
okay.
building.
I'm not worried about
Oh,
that.
Randall will be happy to do that.
So,
That's good. Do we, can people who are, you know, under 60?
Yes,
Come?
yes, we do have people that are, well, family members, we had people in the walk We had that youngster.
But are they
Big into
Active.
intergenerational.
I mean, do we want to
As
open it to
members?
50? Because Easthampton, I think, allows 55 and older, but I think they're also probably open when, I mean, I don't want to drive the people that have come here
Right.
and want to be here out the door. That's the last thing I want to
I think
accomplish.
opening it to 55 and over, people do retire younger, some do.
Absolutely.
So,
You could have LAF .5, you know, life after 55. Or something.
Does this new couple of you want to just kind of volunteer to brainstorm a little bit and report back at the next meeting? And some thoughts? Kay, would you be willing to do that?
Sure.
she's right in the midst of it all.
Yeah, you,
Pass it by your Healthy Bones people.
Yeah.
They're the core. They've been here the
All the
longest.
friends.
yeah, and friends, that's why it's a key. I mean, we would definitely not change it without input from the masses.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to, I mean, yes, as a senior, you're respected in high school. I think as a senior, people resist that sometimes.
I
If
agree.
you're over 16.
Where did you get that? Is that from someplace?
It's from Chris Hamilton, who does my senior center.
They did a
He does
study.
a study all over the country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We can share that with you
Yeah,
if we haven't already.
And maybe at the next meeting, we'll
He's
talk
actually
about
going to be
some
at the
ideas.
conference, and I'm going to plan to be at one of his talks.
Right, yeah, if you can give me a sheet and we can talk it over with different
But
groups.
I think Easthampton is the enrichment center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
The only thing about,
That's nice.
we only have funding for 60 and over, so.
Yeah, so we would
technically.
probably keep it at 60, you know,
Yeah.
not that we say no to 55, but,
Right,
Yeah.
you know, if somebody came in or, but I think, you know, the van is 60 and over, right?
right.
So our programs are pretty much right now 60 until we get a flex
And I
of
think
money.
bingo, I have to look into bingo. I think you have to be 60 to play bingo.
Oh,
I know you don't, but I know. Technically.
Okay, but thanks, Kay. If you could kind of bounce it around people, and if people say to you, why change, I'm fine the way it is, you know,
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
that
yeah.
would be good to know too. But I think that if we can,
I think an acronym is cute because it gets everybody thinking,
Think, what is that?
yeah, what does this mean? Let me look into this.
Even COA though, I think they might be able to use something with that. Because technically we are the COA, the Council on
Yeah.
Aging.
yeah, I just think the aging, I
But we
just
could
don't,
change it to activity or
Mhm,
something,
mhm.
another.
something on activity, center for, center of activity.
The
yeah.
center of activity.
The center of it all.
There you go.
All right, so we'll put you on the agenda for next meeting to give us some feedback,
Okay.
okay? Yeah, since you're the liaison, that's probably a good,
Yeah, well,
Get to see
maybe next
them.
meeting I'll
yeah.
just throw it out.
All right, anything else? I can't wait till the next meeting? Okay, one other thing is just the open meeting law training is next Thursday, October 17th, before the wine tasting.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
So we're safe?
That's
10 in the morning.
10, yeah, I'm
Yeah, so the open,
committed at that point.
okay, but if anybody can
Just-
make open meeting law, feel, sign up with Lucy. It's at 10 a.m. and then the wine tasting again is from 3 to 5.
And that happens right here.
The open, yeah, it's in the select board room, right? Okay.
I think it's really important for the new people on the.
Yeah, that happened.
Because we have attended it, and I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I'm going
if there's
back
Are you
for-
going back for a refresher? Yeah, I need to check with Lucy about staff and that kind of thing, who is, or Ed, who's, required to go.
Yeah, it's almost more for the boards and committees too.
And it's not that,
So November 6th is our next meeting date? Does that work for everybody?
except me.
Except you. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn before
I make a
11?
motion to adjourn.
Second?
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.